Okay, let's go.
All right. Welcome back, folks. Today's episode is Intersectional Analysis of Creativity. I'm your host, Brandon, and we're here with Valentin, our co-host. And now that our roles are established, I think we can get going on this. So what is even that title, right? Most people who probably hear that are going to be like, keyboard smash, perhaps? No. Intersectionality means an interdimensional and multifactorial cause and effect. An action that has focal point, more like, because let's use the example of the sun. The intersectional qualities of the sun are that all this asteroids, planets, moons, and satellites and whatnot orbit the sun. You see how you would point to every planet and say, oh, this is Mars or whatever, this is an asteroid, this is a moon. Those are different levels or focal points. But the sun is the focal point that connects all those focal points into the solar system. So the solar system is the intersectional quality of the sun. And I guess to bring that back to creativity, is that creativity very much acts as a sun in our media, socialization, culture, and practices in our everyday life. And my question for you, V, is what are some everyday uses that you have for creativity?
Well, to keep living.
Could you go more into that?
Okay, can you deepen the question, please?
All right. I was trying to give you something a little more basic. So I guess, how do you utilize creativity in more to like everyday tasks rather than creating art, for instance, or music?
The way I move stuff around, for example, the way I make my smoothie. Really important to mention the smoothie here because it's really one piece of art that is really underrated most of the time. Because you just make your smoothie and it's like, doesn't really look like art, but it is really deeply part of the art. And the way you make the smoothie can give you ideas about art within the art of the smoothie itself. So that's the smoothie example.
That is actually a very great example, and you caught me off guard with that, because that shows the exceptional qualities of intersectionality. The fact that the creativity within the smoothie and the creation of it also inspires other creativity, and
it has a snowball effect.
Yeah, it's factorial, but also that creation that you made is fuel. You created fuel to more, better, okay, sorry, my brain stopped working, but you're making fuel to consume so that you can make more art,
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of the art. Like, what are you eating? What are you consuming? Because that actually has a really big effect on what you put out. So I guess, how does consumption of these smoothies further your creative endeavors?
The way the smoothie lays in the cup, that is or in the glass, I would say, standing on the table, that can spark of its juice or thick matter. How my DAW or DAWE thing I used to make music is literally connected with it. not only because I consume it, like you said, to further it, but rather, well, yeah, it's in between, right? Intersectionality is really in between the two things. Well, not only because it's around it, and well, it's all of it, right? It's not only just the sun, or in this case, the glass smoothie. So, how would you picture it? Having a smoothie next to your, well, in this case, maybe a painting or something, a drawing. Because, yeah, yeah, it's not my case because I do it in the evening, like I said.
Well, the thing is like one of the reasons why I like consuming smoothies opposed to other things is because my brain's always got juicy creative ideas going, and like I want to keep going, and like, you know, and it's hard to like eat food when your brain's like that, especially in that go mode.
Oh, okay. So in this case, you like prefer to get grounded more because of the evening time. Is that what you say?
Yeah, well, I'm like with the smoothie, like I can't. I guess I don't have to be grounded, is what I'm saying. It's like I could just like slurp on it, get my nutrients, and then just like keep being like a mad lad.
Oh yeah, that's
the opposite of the opposite of grounding is how to maintain mad lad status.
Well, you can do that all the time, but because of the evening time, that's why I was wondering, you know.
Oh well, that's a milkshake, brother.
Oh yeah, okay, without the fruits.
Yeah, milkshakes. That's different story. That's what I sit down and I enjoy that. I, you know, to the best endeavors are quite possible. I mean, I really enjoy drinking smoothies for the taste too, but like,
well, yeah, it depends on.
I'm eating that for like food, and I'm eating the milkshake just to enjoy it, really. So it's like a different intent, and like.
Okay, so you prefer eating just fruits straight up instead of the smoothie. So you're not a smoothie guy. You've been lying to me the whole time, right?
No, friend. I was just telling you. I dwell in milkshakes also.
Yeah,
I
also
doesn't end at smoothies. I drink smoothies in the morning for breakfast, and sometimes I'll have milkshakes for dessert. You see what I mean? Like,
oh well, okay.
But I generally do not eat them both in the same day. Like that's a lot of shake, brother.
Yeah, you don't want to be shake too much.
No.
So where would you put the shakes in the middle of the intersectionality of the creativity?
So well, I guess like you're identifying here why a very similar substance that you consume, one has one purpose and the other has another, and that's creativity right there. Like you're deciding meaning, and you're, you know, placing attachments to these foods, and like
yeah, but it doesn't have to be rigid.
You're utilizing like the attributes of them as well, which is what creatives have to do, you know.
But only you put the attributes to them, choose what attributes it should go with, depending
first and foremost,
on trial and error.
And that's what a lot of artists, you know, the goal is to use symbols as an artist that are recognizable by others to create a narrative or an understanding. And then when it doesn't do that, it's abstract.
What symbols? Can you further explain?
Okay, so everyone recognizes the sun, for instance, right? The sun is a source of energy. It's beyond us, you know, like we can't touch it. We know of it, but we can't look directly at it. It's a little sus, you know.
Yeah, we don't really want to touch it though.
No, we don't really want to touch it. I don't think it would really do us good, but it's sus, right? Like,
yeah, it's
or
sus.
you could it's sus. Like you could say, okay, the sun is a very beautiful, loving entity that offers us unconditional like support, warmth, you know, energy. Or you could look at it and be like, okay, this thing is like a fireball that's in the middle of a void, and we're on a rock that's flying around that. And why is it keeping us here? Why are we here with this rock and fireball? And
that's how the spiritual practice is born right here.
Yeah, it's like, it's like, how are you looking at things? And it's not just about how you look at it, it's about how many perspectives you can hold about it. That's even deeper on it. It's like, you understand the more and more that you dwell into creativity, the connection between things, and how many different perspectives one can hold on something as like simple as a fucking pebble, like a pebble to me could look like gray, and to you it could look more white, and we could be looking at the same pebble. Like, why are we arguing about a little piece of rock? Like, why is it different?
I ain't arguing.
Well,
You're the one arguing.
Yeah, well, I'm argumentative right now about this pebble, and I'm trying to tell you what, sir. Tell me something, B. Why do I see one pebble and why do you see another?
Well, there are many, like you said, factors that can really go into this because of all the constitutions that we each have and how all the atoms are interacting with each other into our brains and bodies and all this, which makes up the perception. But maybe you're colorblind and I'm not, which is, for example, an example of it. But maybe it's the same pebble. Who knows? Is it the same pebble?
I don't know. Is it the same pebble? And that's very philosophical. Is it actually the same pebble, or is there two different pebbles?
Is the pebble a pebble? That's the question.
Is the pebble even a pebble at this point? I don't know, man. It's just a little rock. And we're not supposed to think that hard about it, apparently. That's what they want you to think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We got duped.
Yeah, we got duped. So I guess what I'm trying to say about that is that some symbols culturally have more agreed upon meanings, whereas you and I can see two pebbles and one pebble, for instance. What I was trying to say is that, like, for instance, a knight in shining armor in society is generally seen as an honorable character that is heroic and like saves like the princess, and like he slays the dragon, and the dragon's like the bad guy, or like the obstacle, or like the trial, you know what I mean? Like, there's an opposition there. Like, that's a pretty generic, understood like concept shared within humanity. And you can also say like that's like the ego's like path, like hero's journey. It's like you got to go find a dragon to slay, bro. And this podcast is our dragon that we're slaying right now.
Exactly.
And so, how do you compare the dragon being slayed to two dudes talking on the internet? Like, how do you make that have the same like depth or quality to it?
It's
and say,
in essence the same. That's why.
Yeah, like, tell me, B, like, how do you do that?
Well, we can take a pebble, or we can take a dragon.
Yeah.
Or we can take a podcast and throw it around and poof.
And poof.
Is that deep enough?
Yes, that was very deep. No cap, dude.
You can further the depth if you want.
Okay.
I'll be all ears.
Okay. I guess like more so, those are more so like storytelling, like tools and like arcs. So let's go more like into a symbol as like is generally understood as a symbol rather than a concept. Is like, okay, hold on. I was thinking of like a mathematical symbol, and then I realized that like I was gonna say division sign, but I realized that people use different division signs and like multiplication signs. So let's talk about like an addition sign.
Yeah. Okay.
That's like something that most of the like Earth has agreed upon means like to add something, a positive, and vice versa, the negative. I mean that, and then like there's the whole concept of dichotomy and duality and like how that corresponds, and a lot of artists use that in their art is like this law of dichotomy and how duality plays out within that.
Yeah, but it's important to say that it doesn't matter if they're aware of it. It just happens.
No, yeah, like that's what I'm saying is like, you don't necessarily have to think about what that is like the positive negative playing out. You understand that there's a playing of energies happening. Whether or not you recognize which is positive or negative, you see there's an exchange going on.
Yeah. But like the pebble and the dragon, it has there's no limit to how much you can actually perceive perceptions. How many, like there's no limit to it, the amount. And
well, that's because it's not based in reality. These are all concepts. Like these are conceptual realities.
Yeah, my point is that you don't have an end to the amount of concepts.
Yeah. It's unlimited, limitless. I don't need, out of this world, man. Like,
so the question is it really unlimited, or is there really a limit, but it's too big that we can't see it us as being just a spark in the universe?
If Minecraft has, is what it is and has a map generator limit, even though it's supposed to be infinite,
why?
Maybe it's like that.
Because that's a contradiction you just said. If it's finite, then why is it unlimited?
It was supposed to be it was supposed to be infinite. So, but it ended up being finite. So
we got trolled.
Yeah, we got trolled by
we
Minecraft.
Thought it was
so
unlimited.
I'm not gonna lie, I feel like if the universe is capable of trolling, I'm sure it could do the same thing. But
so there is a limit.
Well, I think the limit in the universe is one's creativity.
Yeah, but as we discussed, it depends on a lot of factors, but there's still a limit to it.
But
depending on the environment.
I'm not going to be able to jump into the air 10 feet and grab a bird or something and then take a tree and then like grab that tree, put the bird in the tree, and then say, okay, bird have nests now. And then I say, okay, this is just an ecosystem. I can't do that.
Yeah, you can do this in lucid dreaming.
I can do that in Minecraft. There? I can do it in Minecraft. I can put a tree up. I can put a fucking bird in it and say, okay.
I said it in lucid dreaming.
Oh, in lucid dreaming, yeah. But I'm telling you right now, and every day I could do that in Minecraft. So am I doing it? Yes. Am I doing it in the reality that I am naturally inhabiting? No. Is it in a simulated reality within the one I'm living that I'm acting out this concept that may sound bizarre and impossible? Sure, I am. Interesting, right?
Well, it is impossible because we deeply think it is.
Well, what I'm saying is it's about using the limits to create an unlimited paradigm.
But yeah, but this still doesn't answer the question if like infinity is limited or not.
Well, I just said. I mean, okay. All right.
The answer was straight.
Is that infinite is still finite because infinite is a limit. It's just the thing is that everything within infinite cycles within itself. So it's endless. Like you can ride on a figure 8 track endlessly, going around and around forever until you run out of gas. But once you run out of gas in that infinite, you know, it's finite now, right? But
So,
also,
yeah.
the infinite has within it a finite nature. So like whatever is happening within that infinite is contained within that infinite.
So we can go out there in the infinite plus stay in the infinite? Or is there a point of transition from 4D to 5D, for example?
Well, I believe that like 4D would be infinite, right? Like this concept of infinite. And then I want to say 5D would be eternal, like eternity, like elsewhere of infinite, like always, always like present. Like
what about 60?
60? Well,
70 and 80.
well, I really think that like okay, so like if we think about it in terms of how 3D is physical reality, 4D is mental reality, 5D is like soul reality, and then 6D would be like lucid dreaming, and then like 7D would be like astral projection, perhaps. So like spirit, you know?
But you're still like conceptualizing the whole thing.
Well, yeah, because that's the only thing I can use to answer you with a concept, because you asked me with a concept.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trolling you right now.
Yeah, well. So I guess what I'm trying to say is like.
No, it's cool that you gave cool answers to something that can't be answered straight because it's paradoxical, you know?
Well, that also is like. I could take a whole lifetime trying to explain the paradoxical nature of this stuff. And I guess the best way to say it is like, okay, just how there's all these different dimensions, and you think about it, how you're living every day within this human life, and then you have like these dreams, and then, you know, for those of you who are aware of astral projection, that's when you leave your body. And those of you who have sleep paralysis, that's probably because you are unconsciously astral projecting, and you were unable to get back in your body, and that's why you kind of like get a little freaked out and all that. Like,
oh yeah. What is the key? What is the remedy to this?
Well, you have to first just accept what's going on, that you can't change it, and then you surrender to that. And then once you come to this place of surrender, you say, okay, I'm scared right now. Why am I scared? Because you're probably freaked out. There's like a black entity, or like you can't move, and you have to like release that fear. You have to let go of it and say,
okay, I want you to say to give some fucking loving awareness.
Oh, well, yeah, I'm gonna give some fucking loving awareness to it also. That's the next step, is once that you've let go of this fear, you're
But this is the opposite. Like, if you give some loving awareness, you can't have the fear of it. I mean, it can be here, but
well, the thing is
it's which
from
one
a
is
place of loving awareness is how you're able to recognize that you're fearful.
Yeah, but
and no matter
the
what,
fear,
you're always loving awareness, even if you're unconscious of that. And what I'm saying is that you may be experiencing fear, and while your body is experiencing fear, because the soul does not experience fear, you cannot fully integrate with your body again, because the fear is blocking it. And that's why I'm saying, by pointing loving awareness to it, that's when that fear slowly fades away, because it doesn't, you don't get unscared by freaking out more. You can only get less scared by relaxing, letting yourself be peaceful and calm, and feel that gratitude and love for what you feel on the inside. And
Well, yeah, that's what fucking living artist is.
yeah, man. And so when you come to
tie
that place, it shouldn't well, you wanted me to explain how to get out of sleep paralysis.
You explained it, right?
Yeah, I did. So now I'm gonna go back to how like all this crazy stuff is like all happening to you as an individual, or I as an individual, and that's multidimensional, and we are the intersectional point of that experience. We are a combination of memories, experiences, knowledge, and energies that
But all that comes from the fact that it's just atoms interacting with each other.
Yes.
How to explain that? That which is like some kind of like antennas of information interacting with each other. If we remove all the atoms interacting with each other, making visuals and sounds. So how do you explain that? And how does that tie into also the intersectional analysis of creativity that you first like? But
so
that's the topic.
What I was trying to say is that our intersectional and multidimensional natures as beings perpetuate our creativity and pull us in that direction to express, integrate, understand, share, communicate, concepts, experiences, and maybe something else that I don't quite have words for, because what I'm trying to say is that it's kind of like straight it's copium, man, in some sense, but it's also
copium.
Yeah, copium. It's a new.
What is it?
It's a new slang in America. When you say you do something to cope, and you know how people do opium, copium.
Oh, yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. So I think that originally, visual art and sound in a more primal nature, and when we're looking back at our roots as bipedal Homo sapiens, and how our ancestors are in caves and little huts and stuff, and they would hunt and record those hunting stories on walls and put their hands on there. And I studied these like paintings and stuff, and there's actually a lot of them in France, and I've told you in the past to check them out. I don't know if you have ever considered it for real, but
where?
Dude, there's like a few. Yeah, there's a few in Paris.
Dude, I don't go to
Go to caveman caves, man. And
if I can find any.
Dude, there's literally like a few. Anyway,
I'll find a few. Yeah.
The purpose of these paintings and stuff is to tell stories, maybe explain how to hunt, or to younger generations, or to just like kind of just record the experience. And then by putting the hand, that's the signing of it. And these are 40,000 years old and such. And even when we didn't have structured language or concepts like we do now in media and culture, they were able to use their environment to portray the symbols of wildlife and themselves as hunters with spears. Some are a little more simplistic and rudimentary, like stick figure almost, but some really have like contour lines and shapes that are quite interesting. and show an understanding of shape and form and how to like utilize that in a more functional and expressive and realistic way to portray these ends.
What was the point of it?
What is the point of this?
Was it to indicate to further generations how to use the things, the tools they made, or was it just to like much further in the future to be like, oh, we did this, which is kind of the same thing, just on a bigger scale, or was it just to spark up the creativity to show that it was creativity at first?
I think that all of this is true. I don't think it's one or the other. I think it's all of this at least.
Yeah.
And another thing is like, this is art, dude. From the most basic way humans have been interacting with nature from the beginning has been utilizing art to cope with the experience of having to survive within this environment.
So yeah, it is an innate program to try to
there's like this
describe what the hell is going on.
Yeah, the inert urge to describe or record, share. And that is the most primal expression of creativity right there.
So you said also that all these fancy words or cool words like communicate, share.
Communicate. Yeah, okay.
and you just know, because it was a slew of words and it was a lot for me, and I was like, okay, so you're just saying all these words, but I was pointing to how in essence it's the same, just a different way. Like, how do you explain, or how can you explain that everything is the same in essence, yet it has various settings making it look like it's something different?
Yes. Okay. That's a really great question, actually, V. I've been talking a lot, and I'm starting to get a little tired of myself talking. Do you want to try to like dive into that a little bit?
Oh, we kind of answered it.
Well, yeah,
because you've been saying a lot.
Yeah, I have, but there was something else I want to say, but like I said, like I want to hear something from you. Like,
all right. Well, I've tried a few times to interrupt you, but you were like on fire, man. Couldn't do anything.
I know, that's why I'm giving you time now, and like the space, the patience, like I told you, I'm sore now. Like that was burning, man. Like,
yeah, the fire ain't no joke. So how is it the same in essence? Well, if you take, for example, a car and a human body, or a cat, because it's similar in word and letters, so it's funny. And I messed it up last time. I said a cat instead of a car. So they have kinetic properties, right? So this kinetic stuff, so the movement of it is basically the same program that makes them move in a specified way on the XYZ, not XYZ, XYZ axis of 3D, right? And so this essence is the same as, for example, the water that flows, because it's a movement too. So the movement is the same here, no matter what kind of movement is, no matter what the source of the movement is, how it creates it. So if we take a movement, which we observe moves, obviously, on the x set, because we can't really think of what 40 would be, but there probably are x's too. We can't think of it because it's a bit complicated for 3D humans, but we can try for sure.
Well, yeah, it's about juggling with the dimensions.
Yeah,
and that's something that, like, as you were trying to say, is like, how do you maintain the essence while juggling? Like,
like, for example, with the movement, right? But we can say, oh, but okay, the movement is like that concept that just like moves through space. But how is it different from the time? Like, because time moves too, even though it's in a specified direction, as we can observe, always forward, right? It never goes the other way, or it seems. And like, how is it different? How time is different from the movement of 3D? Because, well, in essence, it's not different because it's the same thing. It just moves. Yep. Because everything is a movement. So the movement is basically the essence of reality, because everything moves. If nothing moves, then nothing happens. You know, like,
The feng
and
shui.
what?
The feng shui.
What is this?
You don't know what feng shui is?
No.
I've never said this to you. Not in
No.
the years I've known you.
No.
Oh my god. Okay, feng shui is like a concept.
Oh wait, okay, now it sounds Chinese. I thought about it because you said it with your American accent. I was like, wait, okay, now it sounds Chinese. Yeah, okay,
You do
keep
know
going.
what feng shui is.
Yeah, maybe I just
It's
your
like
accent is too
it's
bad, bro.
like, well, back down south, we got ourselves feng shui. And what we call feng shui down south is there's this concept that energies pass and have a direction, and feng shui is the most efficient and path of least resistance of that energies. And when you're in feng shui and you set up your houses or your zen gardens and such in a feng shui area, that means the energies are flowing in a positive and neutral way, so that you are getting the most I guess movement, as you would call it.
It's just funny because, well, yeah, bro. No, it's just so funny because I just googled it because I didn't remember how it was written. But you say feng shui, which I swear I don't think I've ever googled it like in English, because I've seen it in Chinese, so I'm like taking the Chinese thing, you know.
Well, how do you say it
Yeah,
in Chinese?
that's the thing. It's real different. I would have never said that as shui.
Shui, dude, the shui though, shui, baby.
So in Chinese you say feng shui. It's really different. It's not shui. It's like shui.
Dude, that sounds so similar to me.
Yeah, but for me it's shui. I was looking for some kind of exotic thing.
It's some exotic thing, sir. It is exotic to us Americans.
It is. So what it means?
It's like
What
Kung
do you
Fu
know?
Panda.
Do you know what each character means?
In feng shui.
Yeah, feng and shui.
It means in path or something, like
No.
in groove, right?
That's the conceptual definition you have of it.
Oh.
Like feng and shui are two different characters.
No, I understand that. So what I'm saying is, like, I don't know the actual names of them, but I'm saying is the general idea of what it means is path or like flow.
That wasn't my question. My question wasn't because you already gave a definition. No, it was what each character means, because there are two characters.
Path and flow, flowing path.
No, it's not.
Okay, what does it mean? I like answered the same thing 4 times, and you're like, no, that's not it. Are you gonna keep like fucking with me, or like?
All right. So it is not the answer. So
next time.
So feng means wind, and shui is water. But that's more in a straight way.
That's literally what I fucking said. Is path flow.
But no. Yeah, okay. Yours were more in say like abstract way. I wanted to like the straight thing, you know.
Yeah, like you said water move, whatever, man. Whatever, dude.
Well,
whatever.
It is okay, whatever.
Whatever, dude. It's feng shui. So pretty much
feng shui, gosh.
If we're gonna talk about Americans, if we're gonna simplify this, we're gonna say, think of a fucking river. That's feng shui.
Well, yeah, river, yeah. But
Let it flow, bro.
You didn't say the river. You said there is a river in my room.
Yeah. So pretty much.
Okay, whatever.
There's a river
dude.
in your room right now, and if you got your mirror facing you when you're sleeping, demons are gonna get you. If your bed is facing the door, like your demons are gonna get you. You know, there's like a whole kind of thing. Like,
Okay, yeah. Let's not make people trip on the concept.
nah, yeah. I'll let them figure out how to handle the mirror demons.
Well, it's cool to to deal with them because it shows stuff. So
Yeah.
my point was the movement, right? The kinetic stuff.
Yeah.
So how is like a movement like this different from the other one? Like, I mean, you can give a lot of examples, like for example, how like penguins move their arms or palms or whatever, you know, like why is that different? So, like, I mean, you can look at it as it just being a penguin, and you're like, yeah, but that's a penguin, so it's different, you know. But yeah, it depends how deep you can go, and yeah, the feng shui. It's just a weird way to say it. Sorry, but I gotta laugh at English.
That's okay, dude. I get it. Like,
So yeah, I don't have any examples for this. I think we've said a lot about it.
yeah, but like, I feel like we haven't put the nail in the coffin here. Like, you know.
Okay, what does that mean?
All right, I'm gonna take care of this, sweetie. Just sit back and look pretty.
Give me another example.
So I guess like to move on, we're going like
okay.
Like something that I felt like you didn't like finish was like how you were pointing to that by creativity is the awareness of like maintaining an essence of something while playing with its properties. So how do you change something's characteristics while maintaining its integrity? That is the biggest challenge of an artist. That is the challenge of creativity. And I guess the best way to say that is that you gotta look at the essentials of something. And the essentials are always there. Wherever you are, they will always be there. And I guess the way that I can think of that or okay, in a way that I can describe that is okay, so in order to have an ecosystem, you need an energy source that the whole system thrives off of. There's going to have to be something produced within that ecosystem that like there's going to be producers, consumers, predators, decomposers and such. Like that's like the general factors needed to like regulate a living entity in my conceptual awareness. You know, there's
Maya.
So
I
I
guess
guess
Maya.
Well, in Maya too, this is all Maya, and how Maya works apparently is that there's a balance going on between different factors that are constantly pushing, pulling, and such, you know?
Yeah, based on the movements. Like that's also how it all works. Like if we use scientific terms, like I don't have the terms. I'm not scientific.
So okay, well, like think about it this way, like so you're gonna keep this in mind, like if you're making a landscape scene as a painter, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna need the sun, which is the power source, like, or maybe the idea that the sun exists. So maybe like a sunset or something, you know. You can play with it. It doesn't have to be a big yellow thing in the corner. And you know that's interesting is like every kid does that. Right? Yellow sun in the corner, grass green, some really creepy looking figures that are supposed to be human.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's almost every kid's like drawing. Like,
are we talking about cavemen?
No. We're talking about everyday kids nowadays. You could literally go find one picking their nose and doing this right now.
Yeah, but my point is that they're not so different.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Is like they're doing the same thing that our artists are doing today as adults. It's just at a different scale, at a different technique, at a different level of understanding. You see, but at the rudimentary level, sun, grass, person. There's a landscape, there's a background, and there's a figure. That's a very basic concept that we've seen within art and try like since the cavemen. Like they did like the figures hunting and like, you know, whatnot. Like they didn't even have a background though, or a, you know, a setting. They didn't have a set or a setting. They just had figure. So
Well, it
like,
was a bit complicated in the cave, you know.
yeah, in the cave it was very complicated. It was dark. It was you know, a little rough sometimes. And I guess because it was such an experience that they were really focused on that experience, you know, rather than what was outside of the experience, even being the land that they were living in.
Oh, it
They were
depends,
so
though.
it was so like it assumes that lifestyle was very demanding for it to be so centered on their art portraying the livelihood and the living
Yeah,
of it and the
But the point is that
survival.
maybe there were some Buddhas over there, you know, like they just came with some avatars.
They're
I think
just-
they just came.
Of course, they're Buddha. Everything's Buddha.
Yeah, okay.
But they're
But
Buddha.
I was talking
but
about
they're
a
Buddha
difference.
like they're like Buddha like if he, you know, still flung his shit and stabbed things with rocks and ate raw meat and
Yeah,
lived
okay,
in
well, okay.
caves.
You're in the essence. That's I was trying to get all it out of the essence to bring
you're
some balance.
oh,
I was talking
Okay.
about the personal evolution, you know.
yeah. Okay. Why don't you take this from here because I'm lost in the sauce right now, V. I'm talking about like I was talking about nature versus nurture, which is, you know, also something that goes into how your creativity is expelled from your body. Like,
Well, it's still an exchange of energy, like I said, the antenna of information, you know. that
yeah,
makes up what
you
we
are
need.
an antenna wherever you consume like media, food, interact. You know, those things are, you know, responding and receiving different frequencies and vibrations of energy, and yeah,
I think a cool name for it is data broth.
data broth,
Yeah, data broth.
like a soup,
Yeah, of data.
a soup data.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a yeah.
I think it's a really cool word concept to end podcast with. What do you think?
All right.
It was pretty like broad and extensive, so it's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I hope that people like that. I mean, I think that it makes sense. I mean, I feel like I would rather like data gelatinous, but whatever.
But it depends what state you're in.
Well, I'm always jelloed out, man. Like,
Okay, it depends on your roots then.
yeah. So I guess like some finishing touches on this cake. Just a little icing on top, maybe a cherry, even though it's on a Sunday. Is that creativity is expressed in every aspect that we interact with. And that is how intersectional creativity is, and that's why we spent time talking about it.
So it's basically the in-between.
Yeah, it's the thing. It's the thing, man. It's like really important, and if you understand that, you got something really special to look at. Let me just say that.
Yeah, definitely. And it's important to look at it not just from the perspective of, oh, this is creativity and I can create something from it, or I can consume something from it, but how like each relationship we have between everything happening, like you said, can have different frequencies and different effect on us. And it's important for us to grow with the creativity. Like it has to be expressed in in the best way that is possible to your own expression, which is up to you to discover.
Yeah, dude.
That happens in time, by the way. Don't try to like force it, because
yeah.
well, if you force it,
One thing
you might
that
find
I would
something, but it might
recommend-
not be the best.
One thing I would recommend is to the audience and to UV is like looking into like professional artists like who have a career and whatever like profession you like to do, and they have interviews or articles about like their process and how they create, and it's really interesting because every single creator is eccentric and expression in a very unique way. And I'm talking like I've like, and the reason why I bring this up is when I was in art class, like one of my last art classes in university, my teacher like showed me this like book of like some like or news article or something about like different artists and like how, and she was trying to show to us as like younger artists that like don't let anyone like, not even yourself, denote how your process should look, because like one of the examples is like one of the artists would like scream and cry for hours under a table or something and then create stuff. Like if that's what works for you, like do it. Like I don't know.
Yeah, definitely, and that doesn't only apply to things that we denote as creative. Like for example, in a factory, you could be doing something that someone else told you or your boss or whatever, that you have to do it in a certain way, but you can always do it in another way. Like, I mean, okay, you can you're gonna create some drama and all, but it doesn't matter if it works a better way for you, that you can do it. You know, like it's not about. I mean, even though in this setting it's more about the productivity, but like it's much better. Like, I mean, you can be productive in your own way, which is better than being like productive in someone else's way.
Yeah, you know, like follow your love what you love, you know, love those things, and love will be received. And I
And what you
guess
send.
yeah, I guess like a better way to like kind of put that is like when you put attention and nurture things, you get a really like nice understanding of how to handle things that way. And that's something that I'm understanding more and more every day, because
So with the loving awareness, basically.
yeah, with loving, like pointing loving awareness at things as you and be patient and allow yourself grace. Grace is something that I did not have for the longest time. I was very hypercritical, and almost a perfectionist. So grace is something that is actually really important to manage. That progress and process of being a creator. Offer yourself grace. It's the greatest gift you can give to oneself and all else.